Hello, y'all. Welcome to Jackalope Tales, Urban Legends and Music, where we uncover, is it real or is it a jackalope tale? I'm your host, Charles Mooney.
And I'm Lisa Umbarger. And Charles and I are original members of the Toadies. Mm-hmm. And now we're podcasters.
Not just groupies. We're
that too.
Well, so bass
and
player, guitarist,
and hair club for bandmates. I don't know. We're in all sorts of clubs.
We do love clubs. Got so many membership cards.
So many memberships.
We
have a fun show today.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about how sound engineers have tweaked the knobs of the Beastie Boys and Linda McCartney.
Sounds about right to call it sabotage.
It totally is sabotage.
Because we've had some experiences with sound guys too.
I mean, they can totally F you.
Oh, yeah. And it's sad when it's like, it's like extra special when they don't fuss at you and they make you sound good. It's like you really appreciate them.
Right. Right. And you tell them. Because when you get a good one, you go up and go, we like you, and you make friends with them.
Yes.
Because Trees always had great sound people.
They did. They did.
And, anytime that you have a good one, you let them know, and you try and make sure they're there when you're playing.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, during the Toady days, when we were playing at Trees a bit, I remember we were trying to get into Club Dada, which was a great club for like Edie Brickell.
Right. It was kind of like your crunchy granola type club.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a different vibe than Trees.
Definitely.
The one thing I remember about that was the sound guy hated us.
Oh, my God.
First, and this happens many times, not just with the guy that was there that night, but when you roll in what they call a 412 cabinet, which means 4 12-inch speakers.
Right.
They give you that look of like, oh, you are not bringing that in here because
there's not even room on the stage for that. Wait, you got a full drum kit? You don't have bongos?
Where do I mic the harp? But back then, I mean, of course, with my feedback, I had to have volume. I mean, that's just how it works. If you're low volume on stage, you're not going to get the reverberation on the Les Paul.
Right.
And I remember we were doing the show, and that bastard would keep walking up to the stage saying, "You got to turn down. You got to turn down." And it got to the point where I remember turning around and I'd turn down a little bit, and then as he walked back to the board, when his back's turned, I then cranked it back up.
Right. Or we'd go over there and pretend to turn down. Okay, I did it. It's good. And I remember several times he asked us to turn down, and we went over there and pretended, and we're like, okay now, and he's like, okay. And we didn't turn down at all. So that's how we knew he was just being jerky.
Oh, yeah. No, there was, and then do you remember the show? We were so stoked about it for when we opened for the Jesus Lizard at
Oh my
Trees.
God. Yes. And by the way, they're touring again. If you have not seen Jesus Lizard, go see them on this tour. They're so amazing live. I cannot wait. Yeah. So they're touring. God. We got to go.
No, I didn't even know.
Yeah, they're touring. I thought you knew. I thought I called you.
You're
bad.
leaving me out.
You're
leaving
me
out. You slipped
friend.
On that one.
Okay, we're going.
Okay. Hell yeah. But thinking about the show, it was like, I mean, I was just in awe because there's David Yao of started Scratch Acid.
Yep.
I mean, Austin guy, amazing. And who the fuck is running the sound
We
board?
heard him first.
Yes.
We heard him on the talk back because he was talking to the band.
And we were like, I know that fucking voice.
Yes.
Holy shit. And then we realized it was Steve Albini.
Steve fucking Albini.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Just passed away recently. But just you look him up and you just see all the shit he has worked on.
And then we pretty much knew him from Big Black, right?
Oh my God.
Because we had all the Big Black, whatever we could get, vinyl, whatever we could get our hands on, Big Black.
Songs about fucking.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh, say no more.
It's a good album.
But, and I remember I had my CD book with all the different CDs in the little sleeves, and Jesus Lizard was so fucking cool. It's like all the members were signing every CD they were on, because I had Rape Man, I had Jesus Lizard, I had Scratch Acid. So David Yao signed
all of them.
Jesus Lizard and Scratch Acid. Yep. And then Steve Albini signed my Rape Man.
Did he
CD.
really? I don't even remember that.
He signed it, and I looked at it after he signed it, and he is, of course, anti-digital. Loves analog, and he had written on my CD, CDs are for pussies, Steve Albini.
Fuck yeah.
And I just remember not even giving a fuck about the message. I was just like, yes, thank you.
They are for pussies. You're
I'll be a pussy, Steve. I'll be a pussy. So, oh my God, what a night that was. That was amazing. So
yeah, I mean. We were lucky as the Toadies when we toured that we had some really great sound men.
Just about to ask that, how it was, but doesn't the same sound guy tour with you?
Yes,
the whole time.
So that's the one thing when we went on tour we did not have. When we first went out, we didn't have anyone but a sound guy.
Yeah.
So it was just us and a sound guy.
Wow.
We didn't have anyone hauling our gear. Even when we were playing club tours, we brought our own sound guy because we knew it was so important.
Oh, yeah.
And we always lucked out. But to get the sound guy that was just like the crown jewel sound guy, we had to get a bus.
Yeah.
And we got Dave Kerner, and he was sound guy for Guns N' Roses and all the big arena stuff.
Yeah.
So he made us sound better than everybody.
Yeah. Oh.
And it was his goal to make all the headlining bands sound small.
And the one thing you bring up with the making you just sound like a god band is the fact that we learned when we opened for Hank.
Yeah.
Henry Rollins. The Henry Rollins band, we opened for them, and we were up there, and we sounded good to ourselves, but we later learned that the sound guy turns the opening act down so that then when the touring act goes on, they're blast it.
Yeah, so they put limiters on the boards, and when we went out with Red Hot Chili Peppers... Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I like those.
They had a limiter on the board.
Oh,
Dave knew how to get around it.
Oh, no shit.
Because come on.
Mm-hmm.
The Chili Peppers and Guns N' Roses played bigger places. This guy knew what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
And so he would jack with their stuff and go over there and...
Oh, hell yeah.
And so we were loud.
Good.
And their sound guy came up and was like, how are you getting to be so loud? And he's like, I don't know. They're just really good.
Hell yeah.
And so he made us sound godlike.
Oh, God.
It can make or break your tour.
Do they have a sound effect that gets rid of lisps? Speaking of Red Hot Chili.
They don't. No one figured that one out. Not even the god Dave probably could do that. So fuck my kid.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
We'll keep saying it.
Oh, so yeah, we found a couple stories we want to talk about are they Jackalope tales? Don't know, but we'll let them decide too.
Right.
I'm actually talking about the Beastie Boys, and you're talking about
Linda McCartney.
Who? Which one are we going with first?
I'll go first.
Okay. All right.
You got the title.
Tell me.
Sabotage. But this is, in the early days of touring, before the internet, there was a widely shared tape going around that, and then we heard it. We got it from our sound guy.
Yeah.
That said, this is Linda McCartney's isolated vocals.
Oh.
And we're going to put this up and we'll it's going to be separate from the podcast because I want everyone to hear it, and I'm going to make Charles listen to it because he hasn't heard it.
I know.
And
I stayed away from it.
And supposedly, Linda was having a hard time playing. It's bad.
Shit.
It's really bad.
Oh,
It's bad.
God. And you're thinking, husband Paul McCartney, do they end up putting blinders on because they can't tell their wife that they suck?
Right. And she's like, I want to go on tour with you. I don't know. Who knows what happened? I can come in and make meat pies. No. So the story is that a very disgruntled sound engineer, and the story varies here whether it was Paul who pissed off the sound engineer or Linda who pissed off the sound engineer, but someone made him mad, and he was like, oh, well, we're going to get a good laugh out of this. I'm going to isolate Linda's vocals when she's having a bad night and let everyone hear it.
Wow.
Well, everyone that's backstage, the sound engineers, because this didn't go any further than sound engineers and bands back in the day.
Right. You didn't have anything to share.
No, so we were all just like listening to it and laughing. And so anyway, everyone knew about it too. So it was like a secret that everyone knew about.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone, if you said, "Hey, have you heard the Linda McCartney tapes?" Everyone's like, "Yes." If you're in a band,
Linda knew about it.
Oh yeah, she did.
Did she?
Yes.
But I might be calling things out
she
of
did.
my head. Okay.
So what? Let me describe what's on this tape.
Okay.
It's quite possibly the worst, most out of tune backing vocals I have ever heard.
Wow. You've heard a lot.
I've heard so many things. And it's so bad that I was listening to it because I was laughing about this, and I forgot what this sounds like. I'm going to go back and listen to it. And I was listening to it, and it made my dog howl. And it's bad.
Oh, damn.
It's bad.
Okay.
It's definitely not her best vocal effort.
Yeah.
And so you can hear the bleed through, and this is Wings. So Wings, when they were out on tour, and they're singing, they're playing "Hey Jude." So you can hear the background, the bleed through the band playing "Hey Jude."
Yeah.
Right, which is a very
You can only isolate so much.
right, and it's a very recognizable song. So everyone knows what it sounds like. Well, until they hear Linda sing it, and then they go, "Oh fuck it." Yeah, it should not sound like that.
Oh,
it's bad. So then here's where here's the part where I'm pretty sure that she knew about it. Mm-hmm. So they started putting out press saying that it was a hoax, that it was really not hers, because they're trying to stir this, and and I think even their press secretary and other people, press secretary, do they have press secretaries, or is that political? Anyway, their press person,
I'd go with it. Yeah,
that's press secretary.
Yeah,
and their manager and all of their people started putting out the story that that's not really her, that's a hoax. So that's why I think it's pretty true.
Damage control.
And I've heard a lot of sound engineers they said this would be too hard to recreate
at that day and age.
Yeah, it's real. It's totally real.
Wow.
So anyway, and by the way, I like Wings. I don't like the Beatles, but I like Wings. I know that's really weird.
I remember that about you. Yeah.
And so the story is that it was a hoax created by a Boston DJ.
Blame it
they
on
don't even
Boston.
They don't even name the Boston DJ, right?
No.
So where's the?
Yeah, it's too vague.
Yeah, it's so totally vague. But there's plenty of evidence that that Linda can sing and harmonize, because there's live shows and stuff. So
was it a bad night?
See, that's what I think. So I think that any sound man or musician will tell you that you can have a bad night. There can be, you can't hear yourself right, or there's been a chemical influence or something like that, and you can have a bad night.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, sure, things can happen.
And listening to it, when I was listening to it, it sounds like she cannot hear herself, and she might be a little intoxicated. So it might be the
so
both.
did the sound guy kind of sabotage by turning down?
That's what I think. I think that she might have made someone mad, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this fun. She's had a little too many cocktails, so I'll turn her down in the mix so she can't hear herself." And she's out there like, "Hey, June, I'm singing the song, and I love you guys so much." Maybe that happened. I think, but there's a lot of variables in a monitor mix that can happen.
Oh yeah.
And there was no in-ears then. You were listening through a box.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, I don't know. That's a very interesting thought, though.
So whether it's a hoax or a bad night, I'm leaning towards it was a bad night just because of the experts who are the sound engineers, and through, just going through, touring for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I think it was a bad night.
Okay.
But it's really bad. It's
because I've heard Linda's vocals on Wing's songs.
Right. She can actually sing.
Yeah.
And I think they were trying to say at the time the story that was being pushed with the tape was that she's kind of a Yoko Ono type wife.
Yeah.
Which, come on, that's it. That's too easy.
Yeah.
That's too easy. But I will tell you that even the bad vocals on this recording still sound better than Yoko. Wow. Because Yoko's really bad. I don't know if you have heard her.
No, I have heard some, and it was the ones I've heard were meant to be heard, so they didn't have to do any sneak recordings.
Right. She meant to sound that horrible.
My God. And I think we could even talk about it on one podcast, but there was a time when John Lennon was playing with Chuck Berry.
Oh my God, I know.
And she starts doing her yeah, and Chuck Berry gives her.
I thought he was going to hit her. I thought he was going to hit her because he was just like, "What the hell, man!"
Time to take that hollow body to that head.
Or
He gave it a look, and so
it was not a friendly Chuck Berry at the time.
No, it was the bad Chuck Berry. It was Chuck Sauer.
Oh my God! Yes, yes. So we're gonna put check out the YouTube channel because we're gonna put up Charles's reaction to this.
Yeah, I got to hear this.
But I am pretty certain that it is a bad night. But that sound engineer was trying to really screw her over, and
he did.
I mean, shortly after they quit playing live. I don't think that the tape had anything to do with it, but they couldn't even go on the road to prove that she could sing. Like Milli Vanilli, when they had the press conference, and they're like, "We can really sing."
Oh, and that was just...
It was disastrous.
That was a crotch shot right there. Oh, that was painful. Oh, well,
be nice to your sound engineer.
Yes, don't piss them off. I mean, it's hard. So... I'm going to be talking about the Beastie Boys and their sound guy. But it wasn't like during a live show. It was actually when they were recording their fourth studio album, Ill Communication.
Really?
Now, did you ever see the Beasties live?
Yes. Lollapalooza.
Damn, I'm jealous.
And it was so... I can't even describe it. God. It was so good. It was chaotic frenzy with the audience and the interaction with the band. It was crazy.
Fucking love
it. So good.
And one of my favorite songs of theirs is Sabotage.
Same.
I mean, my God, when you have a Spike Jones video that's like it is, and just
with the fake mustaches,
and they had that punk edge to them too, because they had been punk before they went into rap.
And the way the song starts.
Oh my God.
That's a good song.
Oh, it is so good. But there's been a lot of interpretations or thoughts of what is this song about by fans. And Beastie Boys really never quite open up much about their songs. And some feel like it's an anti-authority song. And then, of course, some people think it's an homage to 70s crime drama.
Right.
because of the great video. Some even think it's anti-religious or anti-paparazzi.
I never did get that, but okay.
Well, they said because at that time the band had gotten into tiffs with photographers, so they were kind of thinking maybe it's along the lines of that. So for over 20 years, none of the band had ever explained the meaning behind the song. Well, Mike D and Ad Rock, they ended up coming out 24 years later telling what the song was about. And it is about their annoying sound engineer who was helping them record the Ill Communication album.
So I'm really curious about this because
Yeah.
when we went into the studio, we got to pick who our sound engineer was. Did they pick this guy and he just turned out to be jerky?
He's a well-known, he's done a lot of work. I think they did choose him, but when I get into this, it might just be that they love what he can do for them, but they don't work the way he likes.
I get that too.
Yeah.
You might not know that while you're just interviewing him and having dinner with him, because that's how you pick a sound engineer for the studio. You have dinner with them. Right. It's like, I like them. Let's hang out with them. And then you're in the studio. It's like, what a fuck stick.
Oh, God. Well, and it just seems too that sound engineers, it's like they have the math brain.
Yeah.
Even sound guys.
Yep.
And then the band has the art brain. And it's like it's just oil and water when they try to work together most of the time.
Yeah.
But when Ad Rock in the song yells, "I can't stand it, I know you planned it," he is directing his frustration at their friend and producer Mario Caldato Jr.
Really?
So he was the sound engineer. Now, and this is what I was talking about, because Mario was pushing the Beasties to actually finish a track. Because I know, like you talk about, before you even got in the studio to record Rubberneck, you all had worked that shit to the ground. I mean, you had it down pat. Yep. And I guess, and the Beastie Boys, I'm assuming, own their own studio. Well, when you get those luxuries like that, you kind of just go in and start working on stuff.
Right. Fiddle.
Yeah.
I'm fiddling on
that. So that is where this seems to come from, because they kept fiddling and fiddling, and Mario just wanted something to be fucking ended. I mean, they'd start a whole bunch of stuff and nothing would end. They'd like put it on the shelf, go to something else.
Well, I kind of am on the sound engineer's side right now.
I can see the frustration because of their mindset. I mean, he doesn't want to just stand there and just hit record and then just let them do their own shit.
Right.
So, and as the story goes, the group was being indecisive about completing songs for the album. The Beasties, they even stated this in their book. We were totally indecisive about what, when, why, and how to complete songs, and Mario was getting frustrated. Mario would blow a fuse and get pissed off at the band and scream that they just need to finish something, anything, a song.
Well, that's what a producer is supposed to do, is to help you through that.
But
so it sounds like they were so disconnected that he couldn't even usher them through to the finish line.
No, true. I think that he started crossing a line, according to the Beasties, because he would push awful instrumental tracks that the Beasties had made just to have something moving towards completion.
Now I'm on the Beastie side.
So here's this guy just wanting something done and pushing all these things at him, being like, well, just use that, what you did there or that there. And then
that feels like he didn't give a shit.
I guess, you get to that point where you're so fucking frustrated, you just want to feel like something's completed. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. But maybe he just needed that feeling of completion. And then the Adam Horowitz, he says at one point they considered including a scratched Queen Latifah sample as the hook.
Ooh.
But Adam Horowitz screamed at Caldato, "I can't stand it." There was the first line of the song born. So he screamed that at him. And then they wrote the song Sabotage, thinking it would be funny to write a song about how Mario was holding them all down and how he's trying to mess it all up and sabotage their art. So
I freaking love that story.
I know. And when you start to look at the lyrics, it all kind of starts to make sense, because there's, "So listen up, because you can't say nothing. You'll shut me down with a push of a button. But yo, I'm out and I'm gone. I'll tell you now, I keep it on and on." So it's like, you ain't going to fuck this up. And look at that. That experience got them one of their biggest hits.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then I love the line, "But make no mistakes and switch up my channel. I'm Buddy Rich when I fly off the handle."
Yes.
Buddy Rich was a mean motherfucker.
Oh my God,
drummer.
yes.
Oh, that's another. See, we talk about
So
things
many
and
jackalopes.
then we can branch off to that episode. So, yeah, they're mean motherfuckers, those jazz guys.
Never fight a jazz guy.
Oh, God, no kidding. They have a whole different mentality. They know notes and chords.
Right. And I think they know Kung Fu. They picked it up in the alley.
Or those funk guys.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Funk and Kung Fu, they go together.
Well, I hear a kazoo. You hear it?
Kazoo? A kazoo? I thought it was
Yep.
Linda McCartney.
It is almost Linda McCartney.
Oh!
And this signals one of my favorite parts of the show, the Lone Star Salute.
Yes! I love it. I love it. You get to hear the angst.
Right. We get to hear people who are not happy about a musician or a band or a venue, something to do with music, and they're just not happy with it, and they're going to leave a 1-star review.
Yeah. And to me, if I'm buying something, I want a 5-star. If I'm interested in music, I want to read the 1-star.
And if you have a podcast, you want
5-star.
5-star for the podcast, 1-star for what we're reviewing. Because we're in the Lone Star State, and we're going to do it.
Oh, yeah. We got to appreciate these people. So, do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, sadly, this guy was a little nice about not revealing who he's talking about.
Okay.
But we're kind of keeping within the subject matter of the episode. It's a review of a sound guy.
Okay.
And so the guy's name that is doing the review is Ari. And he went to go see a show, and he's a musician himself. So he was actually just there to see the show.
Okay.
The night started strong. The opening band sounded great. The mix was on point. The sound guy, the dude was walking around the room with his iPad mixer, making it sound sweet. Isn't that funny how they do all that now, where it's like
it's on your iPad.
carrying the iPad
Not
around.
a big giant board anymore.
I know, and they used to have to be there back at the board and just be like, "Okay, guitar, left stage," and it's like,
Now they can go to the bathroom and take a pee and still be mixing.
I know, that's true. Damn, they probably do. Well, in this instance, maybe something else. But then the touring headliner took the stage to a packed house of about 300. And he talks about how this band has millions of streams and strong reputation all around, but they're still emerging, so they can't quite afford a sound tech for the road.
Okay.
We've been there before.
Yep.
From the get-go, their phenomenal singer with an angelic voice was nearly inaudible. I turned around to look at the sound guy, wondering what the fuck is going on. Sure enough, he was making out with his girlfriend back by the board. And this lasted for 2 songs. Then he realized he should probably do his job, so he and his girlfriend literally latched onto his waist, wandered back to his spot in the middle of the room with his iPad, and began showing his girlfriend the magic of the iPad digital mixing board, teaching her how it all worked, and getting all geeky about the bass frequency map. All the while, we couldn't hear the fucking lead singer. I'm sorry, this is honestly one of the biggest problems with many engineers. Even when they don't have a woman latched around their body, they bury the vocals. And then he ends it by saying, I'd like every sound guy to start their days every morning by looking into the mirror, saying to themselves 5 times over, vocals come first. Interesting. And when we were Soul Shifter with a female singer, we ran into that a ton.
A lot.
Oh,
a lot. Yeah.
I mean, it was rare that there'd be a show where they'd be like, yeah, we heard the vocals. Great. Oh,
yeah.
Even when you point it out to them.
Right. I mean, I don't understand why it's so hard if you've got a loud band, because we were loud. I mean, we had good size amps. You still have your 410.
Oh, yes.
And, why is it so hard to get the female vocals to cut through? Because guess what? Girls sing rock too.
Oh, they do.
And
I mean, she wasn't a wimpy vocalist.
No. And I just didn't understand why it was so hard. So I'm not a sound person, though. I don't get paid the big bucks.
Do you want to be a sound person?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Can you imagine all the shit they go through with bands?
No. And you probably have to clean vomit out of the mics and no.
And see, that's where I'm torn. I understand the anguish of the musician, but I can understand what they go through. And
that's why I'm
always on defense.
Exactly. And that's why I'm always grateful when you find a good one.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Buy them a Danish and an espresso
and a cup of coffee. Here you go. I got you.
Friend for life. All right, what have you got?
Okay, so this really isn't music, but it's about Linda McCartney.
Oh,
and
okay.
Linda
it's
McCartney.
Still sitting in there.
It is. Linda McCartney and Paul were both vegetarians.
Ah, yes.
And when it wasn't cool. And so you're right. So before it was cool, so she wrote very many vegetarian cookbooks. Very many.
Linda McCartney?
Yeah, so she wrote vegetarian cookbooks because she had I think even a food line for a while.
Yeah.
So she was trying to spread vegetarianism to the masses.
Well, you know, when oh my God, the people that work out and they're like, you need to work out, you need to do this. Vegetarians the same way. It really helps their life, so they want to promote it the most they can.
Yes, so she's going to tell everyone about it, and this is a review of one of her cookbooks.
Oh, okay.
And this cookbook is called Linda McCartney's Home Cooking.
Okay.
And Kay Jones had this to say.
Uh-oh.
After perusing all of the recipes, I excitedly chose the first one, the lemon sponge cake. In order to make the cake, I had to search all over for malt extract. And I'm guessing that this is probably a recipe book that's written for England.
Okay.
And this is an American, because malt extract, which, by the way, I love. My dad used to. Anyway.
Really?
Yes, I do. And so, but it's a UK kind of thing.
Okay.
And I'm guessing if this person is in Ohio, they're probably not finding the malt extract. So she couldn't find it.
Amazon may not have been around when they were needing malt extract.
Exactly. Okay. So as I made the cake, I was confused with the consistency of the batter until I noticed a stick of butter that was listed in the ingredients was missing from the directions.
Oh!
I added the stick of butter at the end, and I was wondering how it would affect the likeness. Because, you know, baking is like chemistry. You have it has to be...
Everything has to be precise.
Yes.
One thing off and you're fucked.
Right. Cooking, you don't have to be precise. Baking, you have to be precise. So she added in a stick of butter at the end.
Oh.
Right.
Can't believe we're talking about cookbooks.
I know, right?
But it's great. I love it.
And so Kay goes on to say, I added this at the end, but when I read the frosting recipe, I noticed another error. It was asking for 4 tablespoons or 1 stick of butter. When a stick of butter is 8 tablespoons.
Oh, no. Could be the British measurement.
I know maybe a tablespoon's different over there. I don't know.
Maybe
or
the
maybe a
sticks come
conversion.
smaller.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if maybe the sticks are different.
Yeah.
Sticks of butter. So my guests enjoyed the flavor of the cake, but it was really flat and heavy. My family ate the rest of the cake later that evening and woke up in the middle of the night with diarrhea and vomiting.
And it was the lemon what?
It was a lemon sponge cake. And she says, now I'm leery of trying another recipe.
Oh, damn.
I'm going to give this 1 star because my family will no longer eat at home. They think I poisoned them. When I am fairly certain that it was Linda's recipe and that was the cause.
Oh, my God. I mean, do you blame the editor or the proofreader? I mean, but still, they got to make sure that shit's straight in the direction.
So it's kind of like a different kind of sabotage, right? Sabotage by the editor.
Yeah. Oh,
like
my
maybe the
God.
editor didn't like Linda and is like, let's
Paul
change
pissed him off.
Like, let's change up this recipe
Yeah.
a little bit.
Let's take away that stick of butter.
Let's give Americans diarrhea.
Oh my God. Diarrhea from wings. That is good.
Oh my God.
Oh, poor Linda is just the butt of all these issues.
And maybe we should start a cookbook. Like if everyone could send in their crappiest recipes. Jackalope Tales cookbook.
God. And then you cook it and you don't know if it's a legit recipe.
You don't know if
or
it's
not.
really good or not. Right. Like, this is from my Meemaw, and it's fish sticks, or I don't know, whatever.
Or a cookbook with word scramble. So you don't know what the fuck it could be, but you got to unscramble it.
So if anyone wants to send in recipes, we're going to put together a Jackalope Tales cookbook.
Yeah. I mean, throw in something crazy.
Right. It's just a punk rock cookbook. You don't know if it's going to work or not.
Love that. Love that.
Could be a sabotage.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I think it would be fun. I
think it'd be really good.
We call it the Jackalope crapshoot. Because
it could be crapshoot to make it work. Crapshoot after you eat it.
Right, the after crap.
Good play on word. Oh my God. Oh, so good.
Wait, what's that noise?
Wait.
We're getting funky with it.
It is funk. Oh, that happy ending.
We made it to the end of a show.
God, we did. And we talked about some fun stuff about sabotaging things.
Be nice to your sound guys, man. Be nice to them. Out there working hard. If they're good. If they're not, make them a cake. Maybe a lemon pound cake.
Yeah, if you're nice to them, but then they fuck you over, you can be pissed. But be nice, and I bet they might be nice.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
It's that kind of with everybody, though. I mean,
I'm trying to be prolific. And you just make it.
I think though, like,
but it's true. It's
like
true.
be nice to your waiters and waitresses and everybody. Yeah. Be nice.
Be nice to your fellow bassist
and fellow guitarist, singer. Fuck him. You don't have to be nice to them
or those future guitar players,
right?
Excluding Daryl,
right? You don't have to.
Oh my God.
Everyone, thank you for listening.
Yep.
I guess the main gist of this song is be nice to people. And I think both of these were not Jackalope Tales.
No.
I think that this is pretty much regarded as real. Both of these.
There's evidence of it.
Right.
So we got to go with them. I mean, some of them were right from the words of the band, and some were
expert sound engineer listenings.
Yeah.
And I trust the sound engineers. So
I do. They didn't have the shit to kind of fuck it up back then.
Right.
So
exactly. So listen more. Listen more and follow us on all the socials.
Yeah, definitely. Like, subscribe, rate us, watch if you want to see the video of this podcast, watch our YouTube channel, subscribe. If you just want to hear us, go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Send us a recipe And join us next time
Yeah.
as we question,
Yeah.
is it real or is it a jackalope tale?
We're going to ask that
Who knows?
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. But we're going to be cautious.
So I made a lemon pound cake. You want to try it?
Am I going to eat it?
I don't know. Should we feed the dogs first?
I think we will.
Okay. This episode is brought to you by Undetermined, the podcast. Friends don't let friends talk about shit alone. Join John, Matt, and special guests as they discuss all of the things that matter and some that don't. It's a fun and insightful romp through music, politics, and life with a kitchen table intimacy. Catch Undetermined, the podcast on all streaming services today.